Hi, Christine. I'm recording this on Wednesday, so I want to start off by saying Happy Halloween. Thank you so much for your poems this week. I'm going to start off with Monday Night Song. Um, you asked if there was enough sensory stuff in the poem. I think for a shorter poem like this, there is a lot going on. There's definitely a lot of sound that I'm hearing, and there's a lot of sight. I'm wondering if you want to play around with something that you felt in that space or something that you tasted, like the bitter flavor of a beer or the stickiness of the top of the bar. Just sort of any other sensory details always help a reader to be placed where you were. So that sounds great. Um, I will say that I had no idea until um, you got to the line, the joyful conversations and the soft red of the bar, where we were. But I like that. There's like this buildup of like, there's all these sounds and there's these sights and there's this stuff happening. And there's this whole sensory experience, but no idea where it was, which was actually a good thing. It's a good thing. I did think that you conveyed the setting well. One suggestion, halfway through your poem, you say art imitating life, which is a cliched expression. So I like to point out cliches because it gives you this opportunity in your rewrite to take that as a placeholder, right? We use cliches as a placeholder in our poems. So to notice it and then say, okay, what was I trying to say? And to say it in a more original way in your own language. That would be my suggestion. Your trace poem I thought was really interesting. I don't think the lack of punctuation is distracting. Sometimes I think that more intermediate or beginner poems tend to use a lot of punctuation in their poetry because they're used to relying so much on punctuation to in prose in a paragraph form, right? Like you have to use a period at the end of the sentence or an exclamation point or a question mark. You have to use a comma before a conjunction if you have a subject and verb after that conjunction. But in poetry, we get to break the rules. And in poetry, we have other tools to indicate those things, like a dash, like an italicized word, like a line break. And so I'm glad that you had the experience of writing this without punctuation and that you went ahead and traced this particular poem because perhaps you will experiment a little bit more with that in future weeks. Thank you so much, Christine. It was a pleasure to read your work. Happy Halloween.